then I'm confident that we're going to have another 250-year run that's going to be just as good.
All right, that does it for us tonight. That's Nightly News for this Tuesday. I'm Tom Yamas. We thank you so much for watching. Tonight and always, we're here for you. Good night.
KUAM News headlines are presented by Calvo's Insurance, protecting Micronesia for 85 years. Matson and the Adai Itano program. Apply at matson.com and McDonald's of Guam. I'm loving.
Ahead on KUAM News Primetime.
Regional response is ramping up for those hit hard by Super Typhoon Sinlaku. I'm Matsuki Hirayama with a look at the nonprofits at the forefront of rapid relief.
We give you an update on power and water restoration progress post-Typhoon Sinlaku. I'm Destiny Cruz-Langus with the roundup tonight.
GFD crews respond through Core 1 with minimal damage across stations.
Typhoon recovery updates are brought to you by Burger King, reminding island residents to keep informed and stay safe. IT&E, connections that matter. KFC, it's finger licking good. And SPPC 76 Circle K, take it easy.
Good evening, Guam, and Hafa to you and your family from all of us here at the KUAM studios here in Harmon. I'm Jason Salas. This is Primetime, and these are tonight's top stories. Well, local nonprofit organizations are at the forefront of delivering disaster relief quickly after Super Typhoon Sinlaku. They're the first boots on the ground even before federal assistance mobilizes. And tonight, we shine the light on a community action ramping up in Tamuning where volunteers say they're in it for the long haul. Matsuki Hirayama has more.
The community showing their love for those hit hard by Super Typhoon Sinlaku. Here at the former LBJ Elementary School, regional response is ramping up with nonprofits at the forefront of rapid relief.
Volunteers are seen filling shipping containers with critical supplies donated by the community to help those in Chuuk and the CNMI. The donation drive kicked off last Friday immediately after the storm's passage, and they're already on their 7th container, with 2 of them scheduled to be shipped this Friday to Chuuk. The drive is organized by the Azuda Foundation alongside other local nonprofits. Bella Borja, a volunteer with Azuda, shares why community action is more vital than ever at times like these.
I think it's really important to spread awareness and just to volunteer your time. A lot of the families have lost their homes. There's lines of water, right, during heat warnings, right? I can't imagine if that was me or my family doing it. And if I could give my time to give the other islands some comfort, I would do it 1,000 times.
With critical infrastructure damages in Chuuk and the CNMI, getting these supplies to those islands quickly is key. Micronesia Climate Change Alliance volunteer Annie Faye Camacho says that's where nonprofits come in.
It's great to be able to do this with nonprofit organizations because, you know, sometimes federal assistance can be a little slow moving, and working with nonprofits, you get to be direct mutual aid and make sure we get that as soon as possible.
And the community has certainly been mobilizing the past week, coming out in full force to donate their time and goods.
Volunteering here just a couple hours of your day has been really helpful, but even if you can't volunteer, if you can donate water, if you can donate baby formula, if you can donate canned foods, anything is a big help.
Borja explains it's because they know even an hour out of their day means a lifeline is being delivered.
A lot of people are on social media and you see videos of the families and their homes getting destroyed and just like lines for gas and water. And honestly, it's heartbreaking to see, and being here makes a difference, right? Even if it's for an hour or all day, right? Being able to pack the supplies and send it out, right, is like a lifeline for our sister island.
Meantime, their message to the community, spread awareness, donate, and as Camacho says, remember that disaster relief is a marathon, not a sprint.
You know, this is not something that after this week, they're going to be all great and recovered. We have to keep thinking about the next couple weeks, the next couple months. It's going to be a long time for them to fully get where they used to be. So.
No doubt these volunteers and the community are in it for the long haul, together with the Marianas. Matsuki Hirayama.
We are Mariana Strong!
KUAM News.
We want to bring you now an update on the island's utility restoration progress. Destiny Cruz Langus has the roundup of power and water.
All Guam Department of Education schools previously without utilities are back in session Wednesday after getting the green light to reopen. This comes on the heels of the Guam Waterworks Authority and the Guam Power Authority making progress in its restoration efforts post-Typhoon Sinlaku. On Tuesday, GWA reporting over 42,000 people have had their water restored, with 95 of 98 wells online. In contrast, 852 residents are still left with low to no water pressure, primarily in parts of Dededo and Jigo. Still, even in places where water is back, isolated parts may still experience a lack of service due to damaged lines, and even experience outages or instances of low pressure, as adjustments are still being made to respond to the power system. Meantime, the Guam Power Authority also giving an update on the island-wide power system, noting 100% of its feeders and circuits are energized, with 94% of the system load restored. Still, some residents left without power may have main lines restored, while additional repairs to transformers, service lines, or connections remain necessary, or might be part of a smaller outage pocket despite surrounding areas having power. Meanwhile, residents should also keep in mind the following safety advisories. A precautionary boil water notice is still in effect for some customers and is mandatory for those who lost water service for 48 hours or more. 101 samples collected throughout the water distribution system between April 15th to the 20th have returned negative for bacterial contamination. Samples were taken from parts of Agana Heights, Asan Maina, Barragata Heights, Dededo, Hagat, Hagatnya, Harmon, Inalahan, Manilao, Malesu, Malolo, Nimitz Hill, Pidi, Santa Rita Sumai, Talafofo, Tumuning, Tumon, Jutnya, and Jigo. GWA states it will report results from additional system sampling once analysis is complete. Meanwhile, water tanks and flex tanks continue to be staged at different parts of the island. For that list and more information on the PBWN, visit KUAM.com. Destiny Cruz Langus, KUAM News.
Destiny, thank you. Continuing our rundown now, help for our family up in Saipan continues to make themselves available for residents as Samaritan's Purse has set up an outpatient clinic at the hospital up in the CNMI in collaboration with the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation, and it's open and free for all who need it.
Samaritan's Purse is an outpatient clinic which also has mobile medical teams that are going out to the community. Lee Tenorio from CHCC.
The Samaritan's Purse Outpatient Clinic will be available to the community by later this morning, hopefully within the next few minutes, and then once everything's set up. We are going to start seeing patients, all patients actually, so at no cost you can actually come in, do your walk-ins. There's an outpatient clinic, there's a pharmacy and an emergency room that's also available that Sasha can touch base on a little bit more. But our regular operations for our outpatient clinic at CHCC will still be operational, so the family care clinic, the children's clinic, and the women's clinic will still be open.
Those who wish to avail of services do not have to bring any documentation, and it is free of charge. Sasha Thu is the medical director for Samaritan's Purse.
We have doctors, nurses, pharmacy, medical supplies. So if you have wounds from the storm, or if you've lost your medication and you need to see a physician to get yourself just checked back up and back on line with your health services, please come and see us.
And what is being offered at the outpatient clinic? Basic primary care.
High blood pressure, wellness checks, diabetic checks, wound checks if you need any minor procedures for maybe you got a cut during the storm and you need to have it evaluated, those basic urgent care type procedures. We are offering those services here at the clinic here.
And there is a one-way in and one-way out flow. It's right across the pharmacy's entrance.
You'll be navigated through the process as far as when you check in, all the way through the ending, and then you will exit towards the north side, which is by the main road exit, and you can just go ahead and pull in. There's available parking, but we also have available parking at the north parking lot, just in case you can't get any on this side.
Thu said she is happy to be there.
And we're excited to serve this community and really come alongside the community here in Saipan.
Janice Carrasco, KUAM News.
The Guam Department of Education, in other news, confirms all schools will return to in-person instruction starting Thursday. Now, additional campuses cleared for reopening include JQ San Miguel Elementary, Juan M. Guerrero Elementary right here on Harmon Loop Road, MU Luján Elementary, and DL Perez Elementary schools. With these final campuses approved, every Guam Department of Education campus is now back in operation following disruptions from Super Typhoon Sinlaku. Acting Superintendent Dr. Judy Wanpat says the milestone reflects a collective effort from educators, government agencies, and the community to safely reopen schools across the island. Now, most senior centers across Guam are reopening and resuming their normal operations starting on April 22nd following recovery efforts after Sinlaku. The Department of Public Health says the majority of centers now have power, water service, phone, and internet, and those services have been restored. Reopening centers include Agana Heights, Astumbo, and Jigo, services at the Astumbo Senior Center, along with Dedido, Hagat, Mangilaw, Santa Rita Sumay, Sinanya, Tumuning, Jotna, and Talafofo. Meanwhile, the Inalahan and Malesso Senior Centers remain closed due to low to low water pressure, with grab-and-go meals available for seniors in those areas through the Malesso Center. Officials say they'll continue to monitor conditions and provide timely updates as services are fully restored. If you need assistance, please call 671-735-475-6266. Beg your pardon, that number once again at 475-6266. Please stay tuned, everybody. Primetime will continue with more news right after this.
Now it pays to spread the Better Together experience. With our brand new referral program, you can earn up to $150 in account credits for every referral you bring in. That's right, family, neighbors, friends, even your coworkers. Just pass them your account name and account number. When they sign up for Docomo Pacific service and drop your info, cha-ching! Credit applied. So spread the word and start stacking those savings. Additional conditions may apply. Docomo Pacific, we're better together.
Spring is here and it's blooming with savings at Kmart Guam. Step into the season with fresh styles for the whole family. Tackle your spring to-do list with tools for every project. Get everything you need to be spring ready. Find it all this season at Kmart Guam.
Anything's possible.
College is possible. Retirement is possible. Adventure is possible. And so is saving for it all with our Bank Ohana Savings Special. Earn an interest rate of 3.15% for the first 90 days when you deposit $25,000 from another bank into a Bank Ohana Bonus Rate Savings Plus account. Requires a Bank Ohana checking account with an opening deposit of $500. So make your savings goals possible.
Anything's possible.
Reach your possible with Bank of Hawaii.
Our island continues to recover from Super Typhoon Sinlaku, and our friends over at the Guam Fire Department are sharing how their crews held the line through the worst of the storm. From minimal damage to the island's fire stations to dozens of emergency calls received, officials say their focus is now shifting from community support to helping neighboring islands. Jonah Goncharfers has this story.
As Typhoon Sinlaku barreled through Guam, Guam Fire Department crews remained on the front lines, responding to emergencies while ensuring their own facilities held strong. Captain Nick Garrido, GFD's spokesperson.
As far as the stations, there was minimal damages to all these stations. I think the primary concerns that we did have from the GFD management perspective was more so the rescue bases as you were alongside the water.
But even with strong infrastructure, calls for help kept coming in.
In terms of runs, we did, I would just say, we did have a significant amount of alarms throughout the Core 1 duration. We did have a few that were storm related. We did get a few calls in terms of rescue evacuations, telephone poles on fire or power poles on fire, activated fire alarms. And then we also assisted with the oxygen transport oxygen-dependent patients, transporting them to either the northern or southern facilities.
Leadership also made sure firefighters, especially those experiencing their first major storm, were checked on.
Each of the commanders assigned to the different districts and areas of responsibility did conduct wellness checks to their area of responsibility, to the crew within the area of responsibility. I do know that for some of them, this is their first storm. We do have a few new firefighters over the last year or two. So definitely for some of them, it was their first storm. But I think overall, we were fortunate that the typhoon spared us.
As conditions improve, GFD says it's business as usual, with crews ready to support recovery efforts across the island.
We're status quo. This is this is normal operations for us for the exception of the storm. However, though, in terms of restoration, I think for the most part, we don't have too many issues within our stations or any of our apparatus.
And while Guam moves forward, the department is also looking beyond its shores.
And try to support our brothers and sisters in the Northern Marianas however way possible.
GFD says its priority remains clear, protecting the community and standing ready to help others still recovering. Jenigan Charfras, KUAM News.
And in other news, we got a national honor for a local cultural champion to tell you about, because among this year's honorees is Guam's own Frank Rabon, celebrated for his lifelong work to preserve and revitalize Chamorro dance. The prestigious fellowship, considered the highest honor in the field, recognizes those artists who carry forward generations of cultural tradition. Rabon's efforts have helped keep Chamorro history, language, and identity alive, ensuring those traditions continue to be shared with future generations. Congratulations to Frank. Good guy. In crime-related news, a 29-year-old man has been convicted with federal sexual assault charges by a Superior Court jury. Godwin Aram has been found guilty for charges of first-degree criminal sexual conduct as well as second-degree criminal sexual conduct, both as first-degree felonies, following 2.5 hours of deliberations by a jury yesterday. The trial occurred before a Superior Court Judge Alberto Tolentino, and court documents state that Aram was charged for sexually assaulting a then 13-year-old in 2023. KUAM confirmed with Judiciary Public Information Officer Jeanette Sampson that Aram is to have no contact with the victim, and bail has been posted at $10,000. AG Doug Moylan, in a media release, said that they are going to ask the judge to impose the maximum jail time of life imprisonment as a means to protect the victim as well as the people of the community. Well, the impact of the typhoon continues to be felt across our island, especially for our friends in the military and those families who are dealing with power outages, food loss, and other storm-related challenges. On this note, the Navy Marine Corps Relief Society quickly mobilized, providing immediate financial assistance and on-the-ground support. From April 17th through the 19th, staffers were stationed at Naval Base Guam Emergency Families Assistance Center, helping service members and their families access critical resources. Eligible sailors, U.S. Marines, and retirees received $400 emergency grants targeting food loss and other urgent needs caused by extended outages. Now, since the storm, the organization has distributed more than $640,000, supporting over 1,600 military families. For those seeking assistance, you can visit the office at check-in at the Naval Base Guam Emergency Family Assistance Center. Officials say that the goal is to provide fast, meaningful relief while also offering continued casework and financial guidance as recovery efforts move forward. The organization says it remains committed to supporting those who serve, ensuring families have help they need in the aftermath of disaster. In other news tonight, our island's only animal shelter is slowly resuming its operations this week following Super Typhoon Sinlaku. Our Mitsuki Hirayama checked in with Guam Animals in Need Executive Director Allison Hadley, and they talked about how Gain weathered the storm, how our furry friends still looking for a forever home, and SNP clinic operations.
Half a day, I'm Mitsuki Hirayama here at the Guam Animals in Need shelter up in Jigo with our friend Allison Hadley. Allison, how are you guys doing?
Good, thank you so much. Still kind of getting back into the flow of things, but we did pretty well through the storm, so we're very happy about that. We were without power and stuff, so it hindered some of our operations, but we've got power back. And so we're just kind of slowly trying to bring things back into the mix and expect by the end of the week that we'll be fully resuming regular operations.
Right, and as we check on you guys here up in Jigo after the typhoon, I hear some of the puppies are back now, some of the dogs are here. How are they doing?
They're doing good. The local community really stepped up and got all of the pets fostered out for the storm, so everybody was in a very safe space during that time and with families, which is, you know, the best place to be during those scary times. But yes, they're coming back now, and so we are able to do adoptions. You know, if people are looking to adopt, everybody is still on our website. We're able to process everything fully, and so we really encourage people to come, visit us again and see if there's a furry family member they'd like to take home.
Cool, and I'm glad to hear that you guys are doing okay, and most of your dogs were able to be fostered during the storm.
Absolutely.
But I know, so our friend here, Allison, you're the executive director here at GAIN, and of course, you guys are doing very important work with with your guys' SNP clinic.
Yes.
Tell our community what's happening with the latest now with that.
So, you know, we've been SNP has been in operation since 2022, and we've done over 10,000 surgeries, which is a great milestone, and we're really proud of that. But we've noticed that people are still not quite sure about SNP's operating hours. There's still a lot of people locally that think that the only time that SNP is open is when we're doing the satellite clinics out in the other villages like Sinahanya. But we are operating up here at the GAIN shelter usually 4 days a week, usually Monday through Thursday, sometimes Monday through Friday, depending. So we just really want to encourage people to check out the website because the spay and neuter opportunities are always available. And the prices are the same even when we're operating up here, and you know, processes are the same as when we go out into the community. So we just really want people to know that it's always available. And if they have questions, they can always call GAIN or look at the SNP website to get all that information, you know, active on social media. And it's, so we don't want people to feel like they have to wait until they hear about it going out into Dotnya or Sinahanya or anything like that. We are always up here in Jigo. So we are always available, and we still have programs for people who are on SNAP benefits. If they're able to provide that proof, then we can provide them with the surgery for free. GAIN also has a program called Her Last Litter. If they have an adult female cat or dog that, you know, has had a lot of litters and they just aren't interested in doing that anymore, they can turn in the litter and then get mama spayed for free. So, you know, there's a lot of opportunities that we have up here, and we just really want people to know that it's always, that we're always here, always open, and they don't have to wait. And we would prefer that they don't, because sometimes, you know, that waiting game is when the things happen that you're not expecting with your pets. If, you know, they get pregnant or they take off looking for a female or anything like that, and then you suddenly have, you know, kittens and puppies that you're not sure what to do with. You know, it's a sure shot way to eliminate that cycle. So we really just want to encourage people to check out what our services are and get scheduled, or just contact us with questions so we can, you know, give them more information if they would like.
Yeah, and I know it's no secret that Guam has a stray animal population problem here, and the SNP clinic is one of the biggest ways to help alleviate that as a solution. And I know you guys also have the community animals, like, is it called the tip and tag? Or?
Snip and tip program.
Snip and tip.
So for the community-owned pets, you know, that maybe don't have an exact home, but many people within the community do care for them. They watch out for them, and you know, these are the animals that are friendly. They're not causing problems. They're just, you know, living their lives. And so the Snip and Tip program is available to for pets like that. It is also free of charge. The animal does get a little tip off the ear, and that does indicate that they've received that spay or neuter surgery. So if they were to get trapped, or if somebody saw them, then that's an indicator, and that helps authorities know that that animal's already gone through the system and all that good stuff. So yes, that is absolutely available. If there's further questions about that, please contact us either at GAIN or at SNP. You know, we want to be there to help the community fix this issue that we're all involved in and that we all have a responsibility to take care of. And so we're really trying to give as much opportunity to all the variations of animals that are out there and the different levels of ownership that are out there.
Awesome. All right, Allison, thank you so much for helping us keep our community informed with all of the things that GAIN is doing as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
We have some entertainment news for you now as Meryl, but listen to me, I'm talking like I know them. Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, and the cast of The Devil Wears Prada 2 walked the red carpet Monday in New York and the Big Apple for the sequel's premiere. 20 years after their iconic performances in the original film, Streep, Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci reunite as Miranda, Andy, Emily, and Nigel, respectively. Streep reflected on the significance of the Miranda Priestley character and what the role has meant to her.
She taught me how to boss my family around quietly.
Hathaway reflected on whether she ever imagined the first film's success would lead to a sequel 20 years later.
Pretty big dreams for
for this one. I thought that the original script had an almost magnetic quality to it, and it had so much energy, and I just remember thinking, what is this? I have to be a part of it. But never in my wildest dreams would I have thought that we'd be standing here in Lincoln Center 20 years ago with the world so excited to see what these 4 characters have been up to. No, I didn't anticipate any of that.
All right, she's great in that movie, but you know what? Catwoman forever. All right, the sequel returns to the New York offices of Runaway Magazine, continuing the story from the 2006 film. It opens in cinemas worldwide from May 1st. And the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce, our friends at that wonderful organization, are hosting a special screening of The Devil Wears Prada 2 on April 30th at 7 p.m. at the Micronesia Mall Theaters. You can be among the first in the nation to see one of the most anticipated films of the year, all while supporting the Women's Chamber of Commerce's Scholarship Fund. Tickets are only $30 or $50 for a pair. It's a good date movie. And includes goodies, door prizes, and other fabulous surprises. So grab your besties, teams, fellow fashionistas, or make it a date night. Get your tickets now at GuamWomen'sChamber.com.
Now for a look at your world at home.
Today, tonight, this week, and always, we stand with our friends, family, brothers, and sisters in the NMI affected by the typhoon, showing we are one Marianas.
Don't need to work break, keep the smile on your face. The moments you can't replace, and I'll be around. Whoa, you can count on me. You can count on me for life.
Wherever life takes you, we're always here for you. Calvo's Insurance. Count on us for life.
The new Big Arch sauce is so delicious, you'll wonder if they named the sauce after the burger or the burger after the sauce. The Big Arch, the most McDonald's burger yet. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Tonight's sports feature is brought to you by Cars Plus.
Wesley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby! Mosley kicks out. Simon, big three. Oh, baby!
Freedom, that's a cheap thing. Freedom to ignore this, that's a cheap thing. Sacrificing facial hair to nature and involuntary blood donations, cheap things. No one signs up for an 800-pound bear chase. But if it happens, cheap thing. VIP parking, exfoliating, treating gravity like a suggestion, saying, it'll dry. Free-range parenting, forgetting if that's a moose or an elk, all cheap things. Remembering without saying it. Couldn't be more of a cheap thing. Sweating your tail off, freezing your tail off, an American saving another American's tail. Cheap things. Making a cheap vehicle for only people with cash like him? Not a cheap thing. Or confusing capability with unaffordability? No, not a cheap thing. Making adventure affordable? Now that's a cheap thing. So we're bringing you more cheap things this year, because cheap things should be everyone's thing.
At GTA, everyone gets our best deals.
So my Niao's Primos Paris is your mom's second cousin's cousin through marriage.
Wow, we're basically like family.
So can I get the deal?
Of course, everyone gets our best deals.
My nana said to tell you she went to church with your auntie.
You look just like my friend's nephew's babysitter. Small island, right? Everyone gets $400 off when you sign up for a Live Unlimited plan.
Bring it in, cuz.
Even if we're not related.
All right, we got some more entertainment news for you now. Who these days couldn't use a little bit of laughter and a whole lot of good music? And our digital team is Shaylee and Padme, at least part of the digital team. They are big fans of Olivia Rodrigo. We all are. Olivia is fantastic. She comes through this part of the world every so often. And of course, we're NBC, so we really like Saturday Night Live. Put the two together and it's a beautiful thing. Olivia's got a new track. SNL is going to be the place where she's going to be the host. They had a good time.
Hey guys, so Olivia Rodrigo just released her single for her album that's coming out soon, and she's actually going to be hosting SNL on May 3rd, so we're going to listen to the song now.
React.
This is like her first song in years, right?
It's so pink.
Okay, party.
Oh, can you believe she's our age?
Right? Oh.
Oh, Shaylee.
That's cool. The lights from the laptop. Isn't that the Sistine?
What?
This is catchy.
I know.
This is gonna be my new obsession. Dang, the budget to film this in the
Palace of Versailles.
Pink! Pink guitars!
Chili, you could have auditioned.
Oh.
You could have been there.
Olivia, put me in your next music video. I love this. It also has that like vintage.
Right? It's so dreamy. I feel like this would have done numbers in like 2020.
I think it's still gonna do numbers. Oh my god, I hope she performs this at SNL.
I love it.
I love this already. Period.
Period.
She did.
She
did. A lot of her songs were like breakups. Like hopeless
It's
romantic.
like, yeah,
style.
it's dreamy. It's happy.
I love it. That was
amazing.
Good.
Amazing.
Her and Sabrina are doing a collab. I think rumors are true, but that's just me.
Oh my gosh, it would break the internet. Make sure to watch Olivia Rodrigo host SNL on May 3rd.
News Bites is brought to you by Docomo Pacific Better Together, Fresco Clothing, original custom design apparel of Guam and the Mariana. Half a day, everybody. Time for your News Bites. And what do we got first? The PDC Festival, Irek Sanitasi. I was talking to Mayor Jesse Allig, and he was saying that unfortunately, though they had to postpone it because of the typhoon, it will be back. It will be awesome. It will be fun. Central Guam throws a party like no other, right? So it has now been moved to the end of May. That's just more time to prepare. Get ready for some good Central Guam hospitality. Nothing like it on island. All right, Devil Wears Prada 2. It has been 20 years since the original film came out, and you are going to want to check this out because there are people in our company who've been literally waiting 19 straight years. Can't stop talking about when is part 2 going to come out. Almost the entire same cast, and it is going to be April 30th at 7 p.m. Special screening. Make sure to check it out. Our friends at Bank of Guam and the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce have allowed us to put on this amazing cinematic experience, and we hope to see you there. And then the Guam Women's Chamber of Commerce, speaking of, they've got a golf tournament coming up. These ladies never stop working, you guys. And although it's postponed, they pushed it back and they're doing a disco theme, all right? Golf balls and disco balls. It's a beautiful combination, right? It's awesome. And it's still going to be at Country Club of the Pacific, so you will still be able to enjoy a wonderful 18-hole round of golf down in God's country with some amazing ladies who do some incredible work for our island community. So make plans, get your collared shirt, get your visor, get your big afro, get your bell bottoms, get everything like that we used to wear in the 70s. And I was like 2 years old. And we'll see you there, all right? Now it's time for your birthday shout-outs. Wah, wah. We're sending April 22nd birthday love out to some very special members of our community. So happy birthday and a shout out for my daughter, my firstborn, Leilani. May your day be peaceful, filled with happiness and love with family and friends. And happy birthday to MJ. Happy birthday, Pumpkin. Thanks for letting me hold onto your heart right next to mine. Praise be to God for our time together. Always and forever enduring, your coconut boy, Keith. Also, and this is super, super cool, happy birthday to my buddy, Mangilao's finest, right? Team Guam volleyball legend Art Mariano and his grandson, Oliver. Art, we hope you have a fantastic day, bro. Also, happy birthday to our dear friend Dory Abdon from all of your friends here at the Harmon Studios over at KUAM. Miss Dory, we hope you have a wonderful, blessed birthday. And happy birthday honoring a life of calm guidance, seasoned skill on the water, and the quiet joy it brings. Happy birthday to John Hattig Sr. Your family, friends, and our community say we love you. Happy to everybody on this 22nd of April. Want to wish your special someone a happy birthday? Just click the QR code here on your screen or email birthdayclub@kuam.com. All right, everybody, please don't swipe up, don't change the channel and everything, because there's a very special episode of the interview coming up right now. Matsuki sits down with the governor's chief advisor for military and regional affairs, the one and only Carlotta Leon Guerrero, who is also the founder of the Ajuda Foundation. Matsuki was showing you the story about them earlier. The interview dives deep into regional response efforts following Super Typhoon Sinlaku and why community action is more critical than ever. Matsuki sits down with Carlotta Leon Guerrero right now.
Now, for a limited time, get our largest pizza at our lowest price. Just $9.99 for our classic New York-style pizza. It's 30% larger than our large, and at only $9.99 for carryout. Don't wait. Order now at your Island Pizza Hut.
GU Self Storage, located in Harmon next to McDonald's, offers a variety of storage units. With rates starting as low as $95 per month, we offer complimentary use of dollies, push carts, Klein's hand trucks, and pallet jack, with a fully covered loading and unloading areas and ADA accessible units. We offer 24-hour CCTV surveillance monitoring, alarm, and individual pin-coded gate and door access, because your safety is our priority. GU Self Storage, voted Pika's Best in 2024. Call 671-648-7867 today.
Hafaday, I'm Matsuki Hirayama. Welcome back to another edition of The Interview, where we dive deeper into issues that matter to our community. And today joining us is Ms. Carlotta Leon Guerrero. She's the governor's chief advisor for military and regional affairs. And also, you're also the founder of the Ajuda Foundation that's really been at the forefront of recovery, rapid recovery response for our brothers and sisters in the Marianas who have really been hit hard by Typhoon Sinlaku. Could you tell me how that all got started, the donation drive that you guys are having over at the former LBJ Elementary School?
Thank you very much, and thank you for inviting me here and giving me a chance to talk about this relief effort that's going on right now. The Ajuda Foundation is now in its 31st year. So for 31 years, we've been responding to regional disasters. And right now we're responding to the CNMI as well as Chuk. Chuk was hit earlier by Sinlaku, and their infrastructure is more basic. So they get just 70-mile-an-hour winds can cause devastation to them, and that's what's happened in Chuk. So we're responding to both of them. And so we're very fortunate that with all these years that we've been responding, there's so much muscle memory in the corporate community and the communities at large on Guam, and everybody can just come to a very quick response. So it helps when you get a site. So the very first thing was the Department of Education gave us access to a closed school, LBJ, elementary school. And so once you get a site, then you get containers there, and then the community can quickly respond. And so that's what's going on right now. We're at LBJ and volunteer different groups. There's maybe 5 or 6 different groups that show up at different times and put in the hours and are packing up items and loading them into containers.
Right, and I feel like we're seeing more and more how critical nonprofits are in terms of this rapid emergency response. Sometimes you guys are even the first ones there, like boots on the ground before like federal assistance arrives. Could you tell us how that process has been like?
It is always the case. It is true. The Azuda Foundation, we are able to move fast. And we kind of, the way I think of it is we move like guerrilla forces. And FEMA might be the big army that's coming up behind. When FEMA does arrive, they arrive big. When the floodgates open on FEMA, water and food, it's substantial. But their paperwork really trips them up and they can't get in there fast. And so we can. And so often the Azuda Foundation will be the first one to come in with water, medicine, food, medical teams if needed. And then FEMA can be anywhere from a week to 10 days out. So I think it shows that the islanders with the corporate sponsors like Matson and Pacific Trucking, so many businesses that are very quick to get the containers and to the site. We're able to mobilize faster. And it's over the 31 years that people trust each other and we know what to do. At FEMA, they'll have a new person every year or every 2 years, or the military command will have a new person every couple of years. But the corporate and business world and the communities of Guam don't have that rapid changeover. And so they can go, oh yeah, I remember what we did. Oh, we did that. And then they can, it's muscle memory. Yeah. They slip into it faster and they know how to do a drive, or they know how to put a volunteer group together. So I think the people of Guam are just amazing, because we got seriously whacked, but we're still able to mount a significant and rapid response.
Definitely. And how has the logistics been like? I know you guys were working with the U.S. Coast Guard for a bit, right? Has that been
The
going
Coast Guard's amazing. The Coast Guard can move faster than the Navy, can move faster than the Air Force. And the Coast Guard does projects with the Azuda Foundation all the time. Just a few weeks ago, they notified us they were going to Kapinga Marangi, which is the hardest place to get to. It's so far away, Kapinga Marangi. And so they let us know ahead of time. So we're able to load them up with cargo so that they can go out, and they went to Kapinga Marangi. So before the typhoon hit us, the Coast Guard notified us and said, okay, we're standing ready. Whatever you're going to need for us to take up to the CNMI, we'll be ready. So we load them up, and they'll go up to Rota, Tinian, and Saipan, and then they'll call us up. They'll give us like 2 hours notice. We're sending a cutter out at 8 o'clock tonight. Can you get us some cargo? Can you move some water? And we're able to respond quickly to them. And then the Navy did airlift 10 pallets of water from us on Saturday, and that was water that was used in Cagman. Cagman is a really hard-hit area in the CNMI, so that water became the water that was distributed at the in Cagman.
Right. And Carlotta, you're also kind of wearing, not kind of, you are wearing 2 hats as the founder of the Azuda Foundation, but also as the governor's regional affairs advisor. So I'm sure you've been hearing stories of like, or even how the situation is like directly on the ground in Chuk or over in the NMI. Can you share a little bit more of like what's happening there, and what do people need the most right now?
Well, it evolves. And yes, as the regional affairs advisor for the governor, on a regular basis, I'm plugged into the chief of staff to this governor, that president, and this emergency management director. And so very quickly we can find out what their needs are. So right now, one of the developing needs and one of the specialties that the Azuda Foundation has is we know how to come in with a big response to a struggling hospital, a hospital that's in a disaster area. So we are paying attention to the hospitals in Chuk and in the CNMI, and they're giving us a list of all that they need. And one of the needs that we're zeroing in on today for the CNMI is baby formula. and specifically baby formula for children, babies in the neonatal unit, premature babies. And so the kind of formula that those babies need is very special. So the Pharmacy Association on Guam is sourcing those products throughout Guam. They're not finding it, so now they're looking into Hawaii and they're looking into Seattle, which would then bring United Airlines and others into play once we identify it. So then Adzuta would use the donations that we receive and we would start buying this specialized product. That's just a simple example of where we find something that we can be unique and help at. And right now, we're paying a lot of attention to the hospital in the Sinamai and to the one in Chuk. But what has also happened is we received a large donation of pet food. So members of the Humane Society in the Sinamai have identified, and I know this, it means a lot to people that are pet owners, but they said that there's been animals that are dying, that are starving and aren't doing well. And there's pictures circulating of suffering animals. And so the Humane Society put out a word, and then the word got to us here that somebody donated a large quantity of cat and pet food. And so we're working to get that up there also, in addition to the formula for the premature babies and helping out in the hospital and still moving water and food. So it just kind of goes like this when we hear that there's a special need. Another thing that we've heard in Chuk is that there's going to very shortly, we're going to start focusing on chainsaws, hammers, nails, lumber, tin, tents, tarps, because so many of their homes were destroyed. And the federal response that they are getting is nowhere near the response that the CNMI is getting.
Guam's auto appearance specialist, Elegant Reflections, has been providing the automotive industry with professional detailing and car care products at its highest quality, from complete detailing, full interior detailing, exterior detailing, headlamp restoration, hand washing, seat and carpet shampoo, engine degreasing, undercarriage cleaning, paint sealant, fabric protection, paint oxidation removal, and so much more. Visit us at our new location. Call 646-5555 for an appointment. Elegant Reflections, Guam's auto appearance specialist, over 20 years of experience.
From sauce to dust to nuggets. Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. No, they don't come in mild. That would make like 0 sense with the name. Or the whole explosion thing we just did. New Diablo dusted crispy chicken nuggets. A brand new classic. Only at Taco Bell.
I feel like the community action has been really incredible, whether it's from volunteers or nonprofit organizations like the Adzuta Foundation. How many volunteers do you guys currently have, and do you guys need more to kind of like sort out the supplies that you guys have been receiving from the community?
Well, one of the things that has happened is that like when the Chuk Association showed up with a huge group of people and their churches, they were raising funds. Also, one of our board members is Frank Bloss, and he has he's highly motivated and has a volunteer group and a team that also has muscle memory, and they have put in a period of time. But I understand that the time that they're going to be spending there is coming to an end, and so now we're talking because they got to get on with other things. So we're talking with the Micronesian Climate Change Alliance that they will step up and they will be the ones operating the LBJ site. So there's different groups. There's, like I said, maybe 5 or 6 different groups that have been coming and going and adding their show of support. We've heard that the University of Guam is doing a drive, and they're going to be dropping things off. The Realtors Association is doing a drive, and they want to come and drop items off and volunteer. So it's just picking up speed.
Yeah, definitely. And we do see that. I've heard that there's already been, as you mentioned, there's already been supplies that were airlifted.
Yes.
And there's more that will be going with the Matson containers.
Yes.
How many containers do you guys have left to fill? Or?
Well, we have filled up 5 already since Friday.
Wow.
So since we opened at 9 o'clock on Friday morning at LBJ, 5 are full and ready to go. We've just put in a request to Matson for another container. And so that would bring it up to 6 since Friday. So the people of Guam are just extraordinary. The response, they're filling up these containers fast.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, it truly is speeding up. And I believe that it's going until Saturday, if I'm not wrong?
Well, this group, the group that's doing, has a lot of volunteers there right now, will be there until Saturday. And then if they choose to stay a little longer, I'm not exactly sure, but I know there's another group that's ready to pick up the pace if that group goes. So there's, the site is, the Azuta Foundation secured the site from Superintendent Wampat. And so they said that we could use the LBJ site as long as needed. After Typhoon Yutu, the place that we were at was a warehouse by Triple J. We're always going after warehouses, and we were there for 7 weeks on that one.
Wow, so it's certainly going to continue.
We'll keep going as long as there's a need.
And what kind of supplies can the community donate?
Well, right now, I would say I would want everybody to consider, to give you a scenario. So if you were had 4 kids and you were living in Chuk, as an example, you have 4 kids, and one of them is in diapers, and your bedridden grandmother is in the house, but you have no roof and no doors and no windows. So it's all about tents, tarps, mosquito nets, mosquito coils, bedding, supplies, living out in the open for a while, hammers, nails, so that they can start fixing up structures. So we're wanting to shift towards those items.
Right. And I have heard that during Super Typhoon Yutu that Guam did send like, for example, resources like GPA and GWA over there. Will that happen?
Yes, definitely. It's going on right now. The governor of Guam is getting the National Guard mobilized to go over there and help them as much as possible. They'll get all the bucket trucks and help and support from the government of Guam that they will need. When we got hit by Maywar, it was incredible. They were sending from the CNMI, they were also sending linemen from Pohnpei. I think linemen came in from Palau and from Chuk. So it's one of those things that we know how to do. It's that muscle memory I was telling you about, that our linemen kind of know each other's power systems, and so they're hugely helpful to come over.
Do you know when or about when the National Guard could be deployed over?
I'm not exactly sure. I was with the governor earlier this morning, and I will be with her later, but I will definitely know more about that. But yes, I know the requests are in, and they're probably planning it out and sorting it out and figuring out where would they be.
Right. And you mentioned earlier that the president of Chuk was on island. Is that for the
governor,
EOG conference?
The governor of Chuk is on island.
Or the governor of Chuk.
The governor of Chuk is on island, as well as probably the governors of all the states. They're here for their annual meetings with the Department of Interior and the Department of Defense on GEMCO. GEMCO is the entity where the money that they get for the compacts, they have to go in front of DOI and with a budget, and then they arm wrestle over that budget, and then they come to an agreement. So those kind of meetings are what's taking place right now on Guam with the FSM, with the Marshals, and with Palau, with the Department of Interior.
Freedom, that's a cheap thing. Freedom to ignore this, that's a cheap thing. Sacrificing facial hair to nature and involuntary blood donations, cheap things. No one signs up for an 800-pound bear chase, but if it happens, cheap thing. VIP parking, exfoliating, treating gravity like a suggestion, saying it'll dry. Free-range parenting, forgetting if that's a moose or an elk, all cheap things. Remembering without saying it, couldn't be more of a cheap thing. Sweating your tail off, freezing your tail off, an American saving another American's tail. Cheap things. Making a cheap vehicle for only people with cash like him? Not a cheap thing. Or confusing capability with unaffordability? No, not a cheap thing. Making adventure affordable? Now that's a cheap thing. So we're bringing you more cheap things this year, because cheap things should be everyone's thing.
So not super typhoon Sinlaku recovery related?
I'm sure that they are going to be talking about that, because if you've got Chuk in the room with DOD and Interior, and here's these needs, what happened is when what's making it a little difficult for Chuk is that the U.S., when the compacts were renegotiated in 2023, U.S. aid was the entity that was given the responsibility to respond to the FSM when there was a disaster. U.S. aid has been diminished. And so what U.S. aid did is they gave a contract to IOM, the International Organization of Migration, to do some of their duties and responsibilities. So that's what they have right now. So I'm talking with the Chief of Staff for Governor Narun about how is IOM doing. And so we're waiting for reports back. But what I can say about Chuk is it takes longer for those assessment reports to come in because they had to go out and look at some of their atolls that were in the pathway. So we know that Vanunu, Onon, Puluwat were severely damaged, and they're far away. So it takes a while for the word to come in. So these are atolls flat to the ground. So when you lose your trees, you lose your coconuts, you lose your breadfruit, and the high waters come in and salt the water wells and destroy the taro, then you're going to have food and water privation and needs very quickly already. And so that's why we're ramping up and our attention to Chuk right now, because those reports are coming in showing the devastation to those atolls.
Right. And speaking about like USAID and the federal assistance, I do remember back in Typhoon Mawar here on Guam, it was a bit difficult for our FSM residents to get federal assistance, whether it was for FEMA or for SNAP, things like that, or maybe not SNAP, but for like FEMA assistance because of how the compact impact was. But you mentioned that that's changed and they're able to get assistance now.
Well, the compacts have been amended, and the Micronesians that are here on Guam are entitled to access more programs than they have been in the past. So they fell out of certain programs, but they got reinstated during the 2023 negotiations that kind of went into effect in 2024. So yes, that's getting ironed out. But the part about U.S. aid being, so when they're here on Guam, they can qualify for the programs when they're here on Guam. The sticking point right now is trying to figure out how is that connection working in Chuk? How is that U.S. aid contract to IOM delivering for them in Chuk right now? So we're trying to figure that out.
Right, and I'm sure that's a lot of people in a lot of the people in the Chuk community will be interested to learn more about that. But I also wanted to ask, why is community action like this, just going back to the donation drive that you guys are hosting over in LBJ, why is this critical during times like this?
Well, what I really like about it is that we know that we are so far out here. We are so far away, and we've known that FEMA is going to have a delayed response. You're going to have a week or 10 days before FEMA gets there. So if you know that, then you should just galvanize and go into action quickly. And I think by having these skills and learning how to quickly respond and take care of ourselves, it strengthens us. It strengthens us as a people. It strengthens our connection to the region. But everything that gets pulled in, like now we know how to quickly move on boats and planes and ships. Now we know how far we can push the military airlift. Can you do this? Can you do that? So we push all the boundaries, but I think we strengthen the ties at the same time. And I think that's what's important. I don't like to rely on and put everything on the federal government to come in and save the day. I like us to be able to have the skill sets to take care of ourselves as much as possible right away. We welcome their help and support, but we're not going to sit here and wait for it. We're going to spring into action and do the best we can to take care of ourselves and the people that we love and care about.
Certainly, and community action and nonprofits like the Zuda Foundation, you guys are really at the forefront of this. So I want to thank you so much, Carlotta, for coming in and talking about this.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about how proud we are of the people of Guam and what we can do to help ourselves and to help our neighbors.
Thank you so much, Carlotta. Well, that's your primetime show. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.
Good night.